Yeah, so just extend the legs out, right? Relax. Press the knees down. Yeah, flex the knees down and then relax. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh, everybody missing the other half yet today. Everybody, it's a singles day. It's singles day.
She could watch Zoom. I could set up Zoom for her.
Uh-huh.
She said she wanted to come.
Oh, I would miss her if she's not here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're all single today. I may not be single after August though. Oh, that's going to be an interesting challenge for me. But, okay. Yeah, so if you're practicing this, you can really feel like, for me, it's really tight in here, and so. Oh, I've been watching videos on psoas muscle, that muscle in the front. So, starting to see some interesting things. So it's not. A lot of it saying it's not just stretching, but you have to do the exercise, yeah, to strengthen these muscles. So I'm trying to find some videos and I'll share it with Hanakia there, and they can share it with you, some simple videos on here. But when I do this, I can feel over here so tight, yeah. Like on me, it's so tight. I just want to do this. I just want to relieve that stretch, but that's what it needs to go out there. All right. Okay, so bring your hands up and we'll get started. Oh, nice deep breath and down. Yeah, traffic is getting so nice now. The UH guys are out. Right. All the seniors are out, right? I'm watching the seniors at the bus stop at like 10:30 going, what's going on? Oh, they must be seniors. Right? I remember that in high school that last week, you just come back to visit with your yearbook and they don't really want you in classes. My granddaughter is, hey, you don't have kindergarten homework anymore, right? From last week. She goes, yeah. And I don't even realize what's going on. I go, how come they shut down the library already? Oh yeah, that's right. School is out in like 2 weeks, when I saw that. So the library has to shut down, collect all the books back, right? They got to process all the books, get all the late fees, right? Yeah. And now, breathe in from the feet, from the earth, coming up, through the spine, over the top of the head, down the front of the body. Yeah, just imagine, just think about what's supposed to be happening. And then you can let go of the muscles, the joints. Just imagine that chi running up, coming up the spine, the neck, over the top of the head, back down the front of the body. Right? Come up from the side. Relax the shoulders, breathing in and out. Yeah. And no higher than the shoulders. Yeah, don't have to go too high. You want to keep the shoulders down, the joints down. And out. Imagine the fingertips being pulled and stretched outwards. Just imagine something else pulling on the fingertips. Breathing in and out. And in and out. Okay, scooping down. Breathing in and exhale. Focus in your bones. You're squeezing all the bones out. And focus on the wrapping, the ligaments and tendons. Bring everything back. And bring the feet back in. Yeah. Anybody over here does massage? Okay. Or if you know massage therapists, working massage therapists, licensed massage therapists. Yeah, if you know licensed massage therapists, ask them if they're aware of the new rules. That in the past we didn't have to renew our massage license. We didn't have to do continuing ed credits. Now we have to. So we have one year. We have one more year to get our 12 credits. But the great thing is that if you look on the massage site, it says the massage board who's responsible, that they're in the process of coming up with all the rules and regulations. Because they're only the board, right? The board is not a full-time office. So we're like, hey, so you made the rules a year ago. We have 1 year left, but you cannot tell us who's an approved provider officially. You cannot tell us what are approved courses officially. Yeah. So if you're not in contact maybe with your school or other businesses, you may never know that they changed the rules. Yeah, on that. So I'm just thinking because all my certifications are coming up on there. Okay. Yeah, if you know anybody who does massage, ask them, hey, I heard you guys have to take continuing ed credits now. And you watch their face, yeah, they either go like, or they go like, what? If they go what, you tell them, hey, you better go check your website, yeah, to find out that. Okay. So continuing, I've been talking about your fingertips, right? Opening your palms and stretching, right? And you want to surge that muscle, but then you want to imagine the fingertips being pulled outward. Okay? And the same with the feet, right? The feet, you want to press and then relax and surge the muscles, right? Expand the joints. And then you want to imagine like a big vacuum pulling your feet down into the earth. So I'm starting to come up with these, I don't know if it's going to have another step, but I'm starting to see these 3 stages of, I don't know what to call them. It's not energy, it's kind of like 3 stages of strength, how we put out the strength. So you put your feet down, right? The first strength is you have to press into the ground. That's real physical, right? So if you keep on pressing real hard and you tense your body, right? All the muscles tense, right? You flex all your muscles. You can feel that strength, right? Like if you go like this, like, you can feel the strength. But you're not any stronger than you were, right? You just feel the muscles flexing. So when you feel the muscles tightening and flexing, you feel that strength. So your mind says, oh, I'm strong, right? So if you push against something, that's how much strength you have. But it's fake, right? You feel the strength because you're locking it in your muscle. You're not pushing the strength out, right? So if I push against the wall, car, right? And if I didn't know anything, they would say, push, right? Like, oh, I cannot, push harder. Push harder. Right? We tense the whole body. Everybody does that, right? You tense the whole body. But when we're tensing the body, right? We're contracting the muscle, right? Even though we're trying to push outwards, we're tensing the muscle. So we're actually fighting yourself. Right? You're tensing the muscle, but you're trying to push that energy out. What do we have to do? We have to release that energy, right? So you have to relax. So everything comes back to relax. But if you don't tense the muscle, how do you know you're strong? You have to trust, right? So you fool yourselves, right? You say, hey, let me see your muscle. You go like this. I'm so strong. Hey, can you hold something for me while you're doing that? Don't bother me. Right? My fists are clenched. Right? If I do this, I don't feel strong, right? So when we do something, that's the first stage. We still have to do that. But we don't have to do it to that extreme. Right? So you put your feet down, right? You push your feet. You bring it in a little closer. Right? You press your feet so you can really feel it. Right? You press your feet down. right? That's that first stage, right? We have to set our form, set our frame, have to activate our muscles, decide like where is that going to be, right? So we can feel that contact. Okay? But once you get that, then you have to relax and you have to imagine the muscles. You feel the individual muscles stretching outwards, right? So you have to let go of that tension, right? Has to come out now. So when you tense like this, that's dynamic tension. That's for exercising. That's to build the muscle. We're not really letting the strength out, right? We're holding it. So now we have to stretch and feel. You feel the muscles surging, right? Pushing outwards. Okay. You're still doing that, right? So you're controlling your muscles. You're pushing your muscles out. That's still physical. It's not locked like this. So that's number 2. And then number 3 is something else is pulling on you. Right? So if you had to push a car down the road, right? You need that solid, right? First you got to anchor, you need that solid, you got to get in position, right? Find your angle, find you were going to push, get your body in, and then do this. But then you have to relax and expand the muscle. So the muscle has to surge so it can expand, right? And then you have to keep that on. It's a lot of energy, right? Even if you relax. But what happens if I attach a rope to the front of the car and I start pulling it for you? Gets easier, right? Not 100%, but all of a sudden the car starts moving. Now you have to keep up with the car, right? If you want to keep pushing it. If I pull it faster and faster, you have to go faster, you have to relax, right? If you tense, you cannot catch up. So, if something is pulling you, what do you have to do? Follow. Right? If you have tension, right, then hard to follow, right? So if something is pulling you and you have to follow, and they pull you faster and faster and faster, for you to keep up, you have to let go of everything, right? Because if you have tension, you're resisting that pull. So you have to be 100% sung. You have to be 100% relaxed. So at the end, right, you just kind of attach and let go of your body and then you just fly, right? So then you're not doing anything except just following that pull. Does that make sense? Right? So if I'm pulling, I'm like, hey, the car is heavier. Relax. Right? I'm pulling you. Right? You're resisting me. Let go. So you just go along for the ride, right? Because otherwise you become the drag. Right? Anybody ever say, oh, you're such a drag? Right? You're resisting, right? It's because you're resisting what that person wants to do, right? Just come along, let go. Hey, let's go do this. Oh, I don't want to. Oh, you're such a drag, right? So they either drag you along, or they say, okay, bye, right? Because they don't want to spend that energy. Okay, so it's something you have to think about, constantly to kind of get it and to make sense. But we do this with our feet right now, right? And then even our hands, right? So you tense everything, lock your feet into the ground, right? And then start to expand, right? So you have to let go and stretch the muscles out. Imagine only the muscles inside, right? No flexing, just expand the muscles, expand the muscles, expand the muscles, right? So you can feel that expansion, relax the joints, expand from there. And then you have to transition to the feet are being pulled into the earth. So imagine the bottom of the feet are attached to a big vacuum hose and they're being pulled into the earth. And imagine the fingertips are being pulled outwards. Okay, so you try that again. It's a real subtle change. And if you press against somebody, right? I'm going to bring Ross here. So, because I don't know if we have time to play after this. So this is your playtime, right? So the way I'm showing it to people is, so you're going to, oh, look, you want to fight already. Oh, I got to introduce you to her.
Right.
Yeah, you teach. I'm gonna have you teach your self-defense. I'm not gonna warn you about anything. So you're gonna brace, right? You're not gonna let me push, right? So don't let me push you back, right? So first I have to set my body, and so it's physical, right? So I get that lock in, and then I have to relax and surge my muscles. I'm gonna make my feet heavy. I'm gonna expand, relax, right? It's still physical, right?
Yeah.
Even if I'm relaxed, but you can feel me relax.
Yeah.
Okay. So we do that again. Okay. So first stage, right? Physical, and then relax, heavy legs, and surge. And then the last stage is being pulled. So you can see how I have to really concentrate, right? Because if I think fighting him, right, then I start doing this again, the expansion. Right? So at the point I say that I'm being pulled, so you should feel three things. You should feel solid, then the change to expansion, right? And then the change to more relaxed. Right? You're still moving, right?
Yeah.
But the last one is more relaxed. So if I imagine like somebody behind Ross pulling my hand, right? Then I can relax more. It's still going to move. But it's not oh, I'm going to use only strength, right? It's not I'm going to use only expansion and sinking and just like expanding in all directions. And it's not only, oh, I'm just going to relax and being pulled along for the ride, right? It's a combination of all three, right? Because first I have to find that physical contact, right? Even if it's light like this, I have to kind of set like, oh, there it is, and then I know where to go, and then I let go. So it's probably progressive. You probably always have to go in that order. But if I want to fly him, right? If I want him to really move back, right? Then it's right. So strong. Right? So at the end, I just let go like something's pulling, right? And that's the follow through. We always talk about follow through, right? If you throw a ball, follow through, right? Let it go. Don't stop here. Don't stop here, right? Let it go. But this is being pulled now. So if you do to me, right? So right, you have to set, right? So that's set solid, and then expand heavy legs into the ground, expanding all the muscles outward, and then transition to being pulled. Yeah. And when you think, oh, it's being pulled, then you have to let go. You just have to let go. If you don't, thank you. If you don't let go, then you have some tension, right? So you have to really think. No matter how much resistance is over here, you have to just think, oh, don't revert back to here. Don't try and muscle, right? You just have to think, no, only over here being pulled. Only over here being pulled. So one of the theories is that like if you want to expand here, you have to have the same force in the legs as in the hands. That's the yin yang. So the yin yang is you're trying to achieve perfect balance, right, all the time. And something's changing, so you have to adapt. So if you're putting out 50 pounds here, you have to put out 50 pounds there. But it could be you putting out 50 pounds, right? Or somebody else pulling 50 pounds. If somebody else pulling 50 pounds, who's doing the work? Yeah. So you can almost totally relax, right? And you just have to use this. You have to just tell your mind, oh, somebody's pulling. Yeah. So I realized, oh, in some of the training that I was exposed to, they have with the sword, he said, oh, we're going to do this sword drill, and it's a ghost sword. And now I realized, oh, that's what it was. You pretend like you have the sword and you pretend like, oh, there's a spirit or a ghost. That's why they call it ghost sword, right? Pulling the tip of the sword and you're just following like this, being dragged along. But there's only that one feeling. But now to understand that there's these progressive stages, right? So if you're being followed, this is like Superman. Right? Superman flying in the air at one speed, right? And then he turns the afterburners on and he goes, boom. Right? He's already flying at 1,000 miles an hour and all of a sudden 2,000 miles an hour, right? So you're being pulled along and then you add to that, right? And then that just goes, whoa. Yeah. Right? So if you push something, you cannot start off as water, right? You have to start out as water in a container and have a form, right? And then you can flow in that direction. So you have to be solid, right? Has to be physical, and then internal, and then external. So as I said, external becomes internal because it's an internal idea, right? But so solid, concrete, then internal stretch, and then externally being pulled, yeah? But external is still an internal concept. So internal becomes external, external becomes internal. That's yin yang. And that's why, like, oh, you can't learn it in one lesson, right? You got to think about it and feel it and apply it and such. But I want you to think about that. Like, if you want to just make your life easier, right? You know, in class we talk about physically, but if we let something else, external force, pull us and we don't resist, then we sung. So the more we sung, the more we allow nature, right, external, to lead us, the less energy we use, right? The less stress we have. But you still got to be smart, right? Because when you walk out that door, there's 1,000 energies wanting to pull you, right? So you just have to say, no, it's this one. Okay? And then that applies to the hip. So this is the one you gotta really learn is it's the same resistance. It's funny. This is energy and this is more physical. But if you bend down, right? So if everybody stands up, so this is more seminar kind of warm up, but it's important, right? If you fold like this, right? You don't turn left or right, right? You just have to fold forward, right? Because 2 feet on the ground. But can you tell me if there's any joint in your body that's like a door that can only fold like this? No more, right? All the joints are attached by ligaments and tendons. They all have flex, so all the joints can rotate to a certain degree, right? And if we pull them out and relax them, they can roll. There's nothing in our body that has to only fold like a door, open and close like a door hinge. That's not how we built. Okay, so if you shift to one side, right, you go down and you shift to one side in the hip. If you relax and listen to this, your body wants to turn. Right, this joint over here is basically a ball and socket. Right, so when you fold, it's not forced to fold like this. Right, it will relax and it will turn. So if you shift to one side and you totally relax into this joint and you listen to it, it wants to turn. If you don't turn, right, if I shift to this side and I force myself to fold, I can feel all that tension building up. I can feel the muscle starting to flex. So it doesn't matter, right? You shift to one side and you try to fold only straight ahead. And you can feel this muscle just starting to flex. Okay? So everybody else would say, oh, that's good, that's strong, right? And you try to, so you force yourself here and then you try to pick up this leg and then you can feel this side like, oh, you have to grab, right? It's not stable, right? You have to tense this muscle because you're forcing yourself straight. But if you fold to one side, relax and you let it fold, you let your body turn, right? This muscle doesn't flex as much and when you lift off this leg, right, it doesn't grab like that. So no resistance, right? Not fighting, understanding how your body wants to turn. In other words, when you move your joints, your body wants to turn. When you sit on one leg, your body wants to turn. So just relax, just fold from here. Right? Don't have to be like this. If you force this form here, right? You're fighting. Listen to this, right? If you let your body turn, your body wants to turn, it's so much more relaxed, and your center of balance just goes straight down. It doesn't matter if it's this much or this much, right? So you fold, relax, right? Relax, it just naturally folds. Oh my goodness, I don't realize I was doing this so much yesterday. I got huge knots in here. Oh, I'm just playing with this, right? The body wants to fold. Okay, so for those of you who learned Tai Chi before, you learn forms, right? Oh, you can sit down, you can sit down. When you learn forms, they don't teach you how to fold, right? Turn your leg this way, face this way, turn your body this way, face this way, right? So you focus on the direction of your body, and you're struggling because you're resisting what the body naturally wants to do. Right? So Sangma, right? We have what we call half horse. We say, right? Turn the foot, shift the weight, foot 45, pick this one up, and come here, right? We focus on being straight here. Well, I can feel the tension because I'm focused on being straight here. Right? What the body naturally wants to do is, if I don't turn the leg, the body naturally wants to turn here. If this is front, I'm like this now, right? Why do I have to turn the leg? Oh, because this is front. If I don't turn the leg, then this is front. Right? If I'm fighting Ross over here, I'm defending or fighting, right? I go like this. Oh, where did Ross go? Oh, wait, I have to make that adjustment, right? So I start focusing on the form, turning, sinking, but locking down, right? And it's hard, right? The muscle has to work. So I'm fooling myself. Oh, the muscle's working. I have to tense the muscle even more, right? Oh, this is a hard move. I have to develop this muscle. But if I just listen to it, right? Like, oh wait, I have to turn this way first, right? And then relax and turn back. Oh, this is so much easier. Yeah? This is so much more relaxed from here. So when you move, doesn't matter the hula, ballet, anything, walking, right? Every day you walk, you're walking on one leg, right? Right? Oh, I'm going to walk. I'm on one leg. So when you walk on one leg, and if you relax, your body has to turn. Even small. Okay? So when you're walking, you have to relax, right? And if you walk slowly and relax, right? You see my body turning. Because as I sink, right, it's naturally going to turn. So, is that how we taught? Right? Is that how you feel? You want to walk with your hips moving? Right? We become self-conscious, right? But you have to allow just that real little bit, right? So pick up the knees when you walk, right? Right? So try this again. Stand up again. And just walk in place. Yeah? Just walk in place how you would normally do, right? If it's marching, it's really stiff, right? But then relax and think, oh wait, the hips, right? So walk in place and just really relax the hips, right? Just sink, right? So it's going to feel like a little bounce, right? But just relax, and you see how my body has to turn, right? That's natural movement, right? So when you walk, if you just take a few steps, relax the hips, relax into this joint, and let that joint move. Really relax, right? Right? You'll sink. You'll get a little bit movement, but that's natural. Right? It's human beings who said, oh no, we have to walk like this, right? Okay, and then all you got to do is think of any animal. Think of any four-legged animal naturally walking. They're not stiff, right? You see the hips and the shoulders moving, right? There's that movement. So the body, when they walk, the body is level like this because the hips are allowed to rotate. So when you step, as soon as you pick up the leg, just relax, right? So you just relax, right? That's the half horse right there, right? And walking and just relax. Yeah. Yeah. Right? So of course you're not going to do overt like that when you walk, but if you're aware of it, you start listening to it, right? In the beginning it might be, how come you're walking funny? But as you get used to it and just relax and just let it go by itself, right? Then the upper body will start being more stable, and you realize, oh, just relax. Yeah. So it might look funny when you're practicing it, right? Because you're studying that movement. But when you really listen to it, it's like, hey, wait a minute, I'm creating all this tension in here unnecessarily because I'm fighting what my body wants to do. So if you dance, right, any movement, and you're trying to figure out why every time you shift your form, you're unstable and you're fighting, you think about this like, oh, wait, am I fighting what my body wants to do? And you think of all the real masters, right? The ones like, wow, what is it that they have that I don't have, that they can achieve way up there? And then, they've surpassed the teachers and everything. Their students are good, but the students can never reach them, right? They can never fly off the mountain, right? They can reach the top, but they cannot get off. You look at them and you always think, oh, they're so relaxed, right? They're so natural. They're not fighting, right? No resistance. They just expand. Right? They're not fighting what the body wants to do. They listen to the body, whether they know it or not. They listen to the body and they just move that way. That's what my body wants to do. I don't know. I just do it. That's what my body wants to do, right? It feels good. Doesn't feel good to anybody else because they're still stuck in the form. Oh, but your knee. Oh, but your hand. Oh, but you bent too much. They're like, why are you still worried about that? You're supposed to have finished that 20 years ago. Right? You're supposed to have perfected your form 20 years ago. Now you're supposed to be just having fun, and what do you do with it? Yeah. Irish. Oops, that's on video. But that's right, that's the lesson, right? You still have to perfect the form, the foundation, but then you have to start going, okay. Right? Okay, so I just want to leave that with you. Right? We still have to understand, it starts off concrete physical, right? That sets our foundation, right? Like building a house, right? You don't see it. You don't see what's inside to hold, right? You don't see the rebars, you don't see the studs. But you have to set that, and you have to make sure, like, okay, and if it's not, you better cut it down and redo it correctly. And others are going to be like those disaster stories, right? The parking garages and things, right? And then you can put whatever you want on top of it. Still has to have correct form, otherwise it's going to fall apart. But then the foundation might be there. It's like hurricane, right? The roof flies off, the walls falls off, and what do you have? Just the skeleton. Wow, strong foundation. But it gets more refined, right? And then at the end, you paint it whatever color you want, right? You put tassels on it, whatever you want, right? That's the decoration. That's the, listening. And always has that person, right? Like, where should I build my house? And they look, and where they build the house, everybody else goes, oh, you stupid. That's not where you're going to build. You're going to have problems, right? 200 years later, that's the only house standing. And that's the only house with garden and family and everything because they understood nature, right? They were able to interpret nature and said, yeah, but I'm not going to fight nature. So take that, this is your house, this is your universe. Right? You sit here, relax all the muscles as lightly as you can. You set your frame, right? Just where you feel that nice solid, and then you relax and start to expand. So the legs expanding down, right? The fingertips being pulled out, the top of the head being pulled up. Right? This is no different from what we're teaching in all the Tai Chi principles. Inside, you have to let go, and then slowly, instead of you surging, right, you imagine it's being pulled into the earth, the fingertips being pulled out, and the top of the head being suspended up above. So this one has always been there, but then we only apply it to the top of the head, not every point of our body expanding out. Right? Okay. So in that final stage, you have all three. You have your solid frame. Your muscles are being pulled and stretched. Technically, you're doing it, but you're imagining something else is doing it, so you can let go, and only the tips are surging from there. Yeah? And then you bring the hand up. So as it comes up and you breathe in, right, it's being pulled forward. Right? It's pulling, pulling, pulling forward. And then you sink into the hip and the shoulder joints. Right? You can feel that centering. And then expand, sternum up, right? Top of the head pulling, and that full feeling where everything's connected and down. Okay, so we just move right into the warm up. Right? The fingertips being pulled, the bottom of the feet being pulled into the earth, stretching, 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 right? And then sink into the hip and shoulder joints. The sternum up, right? Being pulled out, the palms being pulled, and gets everything connects and down. There. Now you notice you just cannot push your hands all the way out, yeah? Now you're starting to feel like, oh, everything's connecting. That's all I need. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I keep on saying like, oh, don't pass here, don't pass here. But everybody still does. Because you are listening, you are feeling, but you don't feel the difference, the change. Now you're starting to feel the difference, right? So one more time, right? So expanding, but being pulled from outside is pulling you, right? And then you're just following that. Yeah, so that it pull, pull, pull. And then sink into the joints, shoulder joints, hip joints, deep into the joints. And exhale, sternum up, being pulled and down, being directed down. Let the neck go. One last time. Breathing in, being pulled, expanding, expanding, expanding. And then sinking into the joints. And down. Okay, one hand up, one hand down. So as you come out, this, right, they're extending, right, and then you sink into the joints, and then you turn, breathing in. And just take your time so you can remind yourself. Right, let the feet be sucked into the earth. Let the fingers be pulled up in that whatever direction they're pointing. The bottom hand being pulled down to the earth. The top fingers being pulled up into the sky. The legs being pulled into the earth. Breathing in. Right, just switch when you're ready. Okay, come back to center when you're ready. Right, sternum up. And down. Okay, holding the legs. Right, so just take a breath. Right, top of the head suspended, fingers being pulled down, feet being pulled into the earth. And then shoulders. So holding the legs, holding the palms, so you squeeze the shoulder blades together. So just go slowly so you don't disrupt that pull on your body. Yeah, just go at your own pace, your own speed. And listen inside the scapula, inside the shoulder blade joints. And then come forward when you're ready. Turn the palms. But you can, when you go home, you practice, you push against a wall or a corner or a column, and you try to feel those three states, right? You have to set yourself, and then you start pushing, but then you start just internally expanding the muscles, and then you imagine it's being pulled outwards. You should feel all the joints start to relax at that stage. Okay, to one side. So if you hold the legs and you're practicing where the legs are just being pulled and sucked into the earth and sinking into the earth, and you relax the bottom of the feet. And you might notice when you walk around after those exercises, your feet get really hot after a while. The bottom of the feet get real hot because you're opening up all the meridians and the channels, and that energy flows. Yeah, and because you're not overtly stretching or pressing or being pulled, and it relaxes, or that energy just flows like crazy. So you switch, make sure you're going back and forward, 3 times back and 3 times forward. Let the body turn. Okay, finish the move and do the other side. So even though the palms and the fingers are stretched, all the other joints need to be relaxed. So I have to be careful, because I think I said this last week, less and less the form. Any specific form is important to me. Yeah. Okay, and 2 sides back. I'm so stuck on how to move in those joints. And I teach the form, sometimes I forget what I'm doing. If only me, it's okay, right? All the way down, relax. So even when we do these circles, right? All of this is relaxed, but the fingertips still being pulled and stretched, and the feet still going into the ground. Right? Yeah. And then add the breath. So think about the move, breathing in, just let the body follow. And just focus on the fingertips being pulled and stretched outwards, the feet being pulled into the ground. Everything else relaxes. And then turn the waist, turn the spine. And imagine the spine being pulled in one direction and letting go, and then being pulled in the other direction, then letting go. Just the tip of the fingertips being pulled, just the bottom of the feet being sucked into the earth, just the top of the head being pulled and suspended from above. Everything else has to let go. Breathe in and out. Finish your last move. Yeah, whatever your last move is. Okay, hold the ball. One hand up, one hand down. And feel the fingertips being pulled and dragged in that direction. Let go of the spine. Let the spine expand. Take a deep breath. And as you're switching, the fingertips still being pulled, still stretching in that direction, and the bottom hand turns. Right, relax. Let go of the spine. Let go of the lumbar. Let go of the shoulders. Take a deep breath. Okay, exhale when you're ready. Just focus, really focus on just the fingertips being pulled through these movements. So you have to let go of everything else. Just go at your own speed, your own pace. The hands being pulled and you're just following. The feet being sucked into the earth. The hips relaxed, all the joints allowed to open. Move to the spiral, so turn the palm, drop the elbow. Still holding that expansion, that being pulled. Relax, take your time so you can allow yourself to feel the fingertips being pulled and the legs being sucked into the earth. And just following everything, just following that. Imagine the spine being pulled and twisted in one direction and then letting go. And then it's being pulled in another direction and then letting go. Do one more time each side. Come back to center when you're done in front of the heart. Okay, remember that heart energy, that little sun in your chest, fed by the sun in the sky. Relax and smile. Turn the palms and continue to turn towards the top. Pull the spine, twist the spine. The waist follows, the head follows. Right? The waist and the neck turn. Look straight ahead, scan the horizon. Come back to center, solar plex, a little lower. And out. And down. Okay, relax the legs, bring everything back. Take a little break from all that stretching. Yeah, let the hands go. Yeah. So the more you do it, as you relax, the more you stretch, but the more you relax, you feel your palms and fingertips just starting to vibrate. Yeah, because you have that tension, right? And it's being pulled, and part of it is just that play, right? You're stretching something, it's that play going back and forth. And then part of it is that energy is starting to flow outwards from there. Yeah. So, you practice at this extreme, then everything else is easy. Right? Okay. All right, so that's top half, right? So neck, shoulders, spine. See? So moving to waist, knees, and ankles. Okay, so same thing from here now. From this one, we're practicing pressing straight down, but right, as you press, right, it's physical, and then you have to sink into the hip and surge the muscles. And the more you sink into the hip, so even the body, you can see, the more I sink into the hip, I cannot hold this like this, right? I have to relax and let that go. And you see my body naturally turn? Yeah. The spine is still upright, but I don't have to be like this. And that's actually hyperextended, right? I just have to let it turn and relax, right? And then that leg will pick up. So then when you switch to the other one, right, you're going to press, surge the muscle, and then sink into this hip deep and relax. And you're going to feel the body. My body wants to turn. So I let it turn. Right? So I don't want my face square as I'm doing this. Right? It wants to naturally turn. So if you let it naturally turn, you're not fighting yourself, right? You can take that off the checklist. That's one less thing holding, right? Fighting yourself. That's resistance, right? Less resistance. Okay. All right. So just a little bit solid, just a little firm, surging first. Just enough to keep it in place, and then the feet being pulled into the earth. Right? Relax into the hips, and the feet being pulled into the earth. 2 feet on the ground, so cannot turn either way. Right? They're holding us right in the center. And while you're holding that, then practice the palms, pulling the chi up and guiding the chi down. So even this one you can play with, right? I didn't even think about that one. When you come up, right? So first you want to learn to draw the chi up, pull it up. But then convert it to, as it's being pulled, something being pulled in your hands. Then it's just going to start flying, right? And then you pump the chi down, and then imagine something pulling, either pulling your hands or something pushing your hands down, right? External energy. Right? But the first step is drawing. Imagine pulling, like you're pulling up a piston, a syringe, and then you have to pump that syringe piston down. Right? So you still want to understand that feeling, but slowly you imagine that your hands are being pulled up and then drawn down, either pushed down from top or being pulled into the earth. Right? Depending on which one you do, it's going to change it a little bit, right? But either one, you're still following that motion. Right? If the hands are being pulled up, you still have that suction. If the hands are being pushed down from the top of the palms, the bottom of the hand can relax. If the hands are being pushed up, right, like they're over a water fountain, right, and the hands being pulled and sucked into the earth, right? Little different feeling, little different intent, yeah, from there. Okay, so now we're going to pick up the legs. So you have to sink deep into the hip. Just let your body turn and sink, right, left or right. Relax into that hip joint, deep into that hip joint. Yeah, focus on the leg. Don't worry about the hands. Just really focus on the leg and the hip joint, and let the body turn. Feel how the body naturally wants to turn when you release one leg. Don't fight that. Okay, so don't fight that hip joint. Just let the body turn. Let the whole upper body relax. Feel your body turning a little bit, and just let it go. Just release. Don't force your body to be straight. And that's not important. It's important to let your body move the way it wants to move. Right? To understand. Right? That's fall prevention. Right? And you let the body move the way it wants. You're not fighting. Right? Then you're more centered. You're more relaxed. You're more solid. Right? That fall comes from fighting. Right? We're trying to hold that form. Oh, but the body is really saying, turn. That's like my teacher when I was doing the Tai Chi. I could still hear him, turn. And I'm thinking, I'm turning. But I'm not turning the right thing. I'm turning my shoulders. Right? I'm not folding into my joints. Yeah. Okay, come back. Hold the ball. Okay, so same thing now when we do the press outs, right? You pick up, you have to let it turn, right? And relax into it. So if it wants to turn, right? So when I add this turn, that's natural, right? We're just accentuating the turn, but actually should be turning already, right? Okay, so hands here. Okay, so sink into one leg, one hip, relax. Opposite hand, right? Press, push the knee down, pump the toe, relax, lift, sink into the hip joint. You see my body turn? Right? It wants to turn, and just go with that. Other side. Right? It's turning a little. Right? And press out, knee down, pump the toe, expand so the body turns a little, and lift, let it turn back, sinking into that hip joint, right? And switch the other side. Right? And leave the fingers open, right? Fingertips stretching, but don't worry about the palm. Just really listen to the leg. Try and get that leg and the hip joint first. And don't fight. Right, so the standing leg is just nice and solid. Right? That leg is nice and solid, relaxing the bottom of the foot. and back. A little bit different. Yes. Even if you're struggling, even if it's like, oh, it doesn't feel right, that's different, right? That's good. And that means you're changing. Even if it's uncomfortable or you're changing what you're doing, you're searching for what you're doing, you're trying to figure it out. If it feels exactly the same, you're not changing, right? It's like, oh, I don't get it. But you're searching for it. All right, hold the ball. Right. So same thing, right? Press, surge, and then sink. Right? And then head suspended, bottom of the foot relaxed, fingers stretched and expanded outwards. And so this is almost a static form to practice all those things with just one small little movement. But it's not static because you're being pulled. Even if we're not moving the foot, it's not static. If it's static, you're dead. There's fluid, there's energy moving in your body, right? Your heart is pumping. It's never static. It's never that still. Right? Something's always moving. Right? Yeah. So when I practice only me, it looks different from what I'm doing up here because then, right? I can allow myself. Doesn't mean I can do it, but I can allow myself, right? Just 100% focus on what I'm doing, right? Yeah. From there. Yeah. Right. That's the full meditation. Yeah. You do. So you go to meditation class, be careful. Right? Because when you go, right, first you have to learn the form, right? What do I do? What's the method, right? Where do I breathe in? Where do I breathe out? Where do I put my mind? That's all form, right? But as you learn that, right, if you're watching the teacher 100% of the time while you're doing everything, right, you're sending your chi to the teacher. Right? If you're lucky, they're sending it back out to you. They're thinking, oh, expand, right? I'll draw the energy from the sun or whatever. Expand, transmit, so everybody gets, right? It's mutual. Right? So you might still feel good, but you're not focusing on yourself. Yeah. I want you to focus on yourself. That's why I could be doing 10 movements, even if you're just studying one movement. Oh, that's more valuable to you. And it makes me happier. Yeah. From there. This is not aerobics class. Okay? All right, loosen everything up. So, yeah, don't worry, you remember it or you forget it. It's on the video. If I post the video, I'm trying to catch up with everything. Oh, last 2.5 weeks was hard weeks for me. So I'm slowly catching up. I got one more Sunday video to post. And I think I'm caught up with all of our Thursday videos. Yes, you can go on and bookmark. Yeah, bookmark. Oh, it's right at this minute. Randy was talking about that. That's all you need to watch. The things. But hopefully it makes sense, right? First, you have to be physical, concrete. That's how we learn everything, right? You learn the form, solid, right? Where does everything go? And then you have to relax and expand, right? So then it starts to come out, and then you relax and just let it be drawn out, right? Just let it be pulled out of you, right? So the fingers being pulled like, oh, okay? And don't resist from there. All right. Oh, I'm gonna have to eat one of your Lilycore bars after class. Oh, that little energy pouch is wearing off already. Okay. All right. So yeah, loosen everything up first. Right? You want to let everything go and then reset. And then we'll run through the form seated, and then we'll do some standing over there. Take a deep breath. Let it all out. Take another deep breath. Relax the chest, just the lower belly, expanding and releasing. And take a third deep breath and let it all out. Relax all the facial muscles. Let everything drop. Just smile from the heart. Okay, look straight ahead, head suspended. Feet a little solid, expanding, just a little bit pulling into the earth. Not really strong yet. Right, the palms starting to open, expanding the fingertips, and lightly start to be pulled outwards. So the whole body is being pulled and drawn. Top of the head, bottom of the feet, fingertips. Take a deep breath. Let it all out. And then commencement. Okay? Inhale, commencement. Feel the fingertips, the feet starting to be drawn and pulled. And then sink into the hip. Relax into the hip joints. Out. Expanding. And then sink into the hip joint right here. And then expanding. Right, and then sink into the hip joint again. Open and close. Turn to your right, single whip. Expanding, being pulled, and then being pulled and open. Full expansion right here. And then keep on turning. Wan Sau. Feel that hand being pulled up. And the other hand just releases. Right? The bottom hand being pulled upwards. And the other hand releases. And follow the palm with the second finger or in between the second finger and the thumb. And one more time. Right? The hand's being pulled. And the bottom hand releases. Then the bottom hand being pulled upwards. The top hand releases. Come back to center. Turn a little bit to the left as you spiral back. Sinking into the hips. Turn to the left. Open single whip. Raise the palms, height of the face. Wan Sau, left hand starts to drop. Then it gets pulled upwards. And the right hand drops. Yeah, so just one hand up, one hand down. There you go. Yeah. That's right. It's like a slow wave, yeah. I teased my granddaughter. I said, "Oh, you're a monkey sloth. Are you a sloth today? Or are you a monkey today?" And poor thing, she fell on the playground. Short fall. I said, "Oh, if you fell like a sloth, the whole fall would have been slow motion. And you wouldn't have gotten hurt. It would have been, oh, I'm falling." Then I have to say, "No, for real, it's true." Come back to center when you're ready. Yeah, finish your movement. Brushing knee on the right side. So turn, right? So the hands being pulled upwards, expanding, and then being pulled to the front, right? Being pulled to the heart, right? And then expand the heart energy outwards. Still expanding, being pulled straight, both hands pulled straight. Right? And then the left hand being pulled out and the right hand relaxing, so it just slides back. Right? And imagine the elbow and the shoulders being pulled to the left. Right? Right? And Parry right. Just imagine the shoulders being pulled. Right? Different feeling. The shoulder blade being pulled as the hand swivel. Right? And then the left hand being pulled over. Right? And the muscles grabbing the spine, pulling the spine. And then breathe in, start to grab. You sink into the hip and exhale, and then expand, the fist being pulled forward. Right? And then both hands being pulled to the center, and then releasing. And then the shoulder blades being pulled back, just drawing back and down. And then something pulling the palms forward. Right? And then releasing, and everything springs back to the center. And then repeat on the left side, brushing the knee. So the spine grabbing the spine and pulling the spine, the fingertips being pulled up and then pulled to the front, pulled to the center of the heart. And then expand that heart energy out of your left palm. And then being pulled straight, both palms pulling straight, waist turning. And then the right fingertips being pulled forward, the left fingertips relaxing, and then the left fingertips being pulled to the side, and the shoulder being pulled. Then parry left, right? The shoulder blade being pulled, and the hands just swinging. And then the right shoulder blade being pulled, and the hands just swiveling and following. Right? And then the right hand being pulled over, wrist on wrist, breathing in. And as you exhale, squeeze, and the left fist being pulled forward. And then the right fist being pulled to catch up, and then the shoulder blades being drawn back. And then the palms being pulled forward. And then release. Let everything spring back to the heart. And then repeat. Left side. Brushing the knee, fingertips being pulled forward to the heart, and then heart energy, lift the sternum. And fold into the left. The right hand being pulled upwards, circling up, and then both palms being pulled to the front, wiping down. Left fingertips connect. Shoulder blades being pulled and drawn. The fingertips being pulled forward. The back fingertips following. And then that spiral, following that spiral. And both palms being pulled to the front. And then open and close. And then right side. Fingertips being pulled up and then being pulled to the heart to brush the left knee. And then expand that heart energy out, let it flow. The right shoulder being pulled back. The left palms being pulled up. Right? Both palms being pulled forward. And then the shoulders drawing down. The fingertips being pulled. The back fingertips following. And being pulled into that spiral. And then both palms being pulled to the front. Fist under elbow. Turn to your right. Right? It's being drawn forward and drawn open. Something's pulling the right hand down. Turn the waist. And turn back. Sink into the hips. And then expand outwards. The fist being pulled forward and then open and then being pulled up. Turn the spine to the right. So keep playing with these external energies, pulling the hand in the direction they're going to go. When the hand falls, you can just release them. Right? Let them fall. Let them follow. The right hand being pulled in that direction. Left hand circles up. Palms pulled to the front, wiping down. Sink into the hips so the body turns. Pull the fingertips forward. It's being drawn forward and they're being pulled into that spiral, that whip. Open and close. And then left side. Drop the left hand, turn the waist, grab, turn. Sink into the hip. The fist pulled to the front. Then open, fingertips being pulled. Exhale. Heart energy expand from the heart through the palm. Keep on turning. Keep on turning. Leisurely tying the coat, fold. Let the fingertips be pulled into place. Sink into the hips. The palm being pulled upwards and pulled forward. Then pulled in a spiral. Double palms being pulled forward. Open and close. Sink into the hips and then expand. Feel everything being pulled, expanding outwards. And slowly, slowly, slowly start to let everything go. Start to release the legs. Sink into one hip so one leg can release. And then the other leg, sink into the hip. You see that last one where you release, you could see people's body turn, right? So we focus on too much, cannot move. Oh, gotta be still, yeah? Oh, gotta have the perfect form. And that's why professional athletes, they all injured, right? Every professional athlete has injury because one, they overtrain, but two, when you start to study this, you realize no matter how much Olympic Center technology, right? Until they stop fighting their body and letting themselves move, right? They're creating undue stress on their body. And when you overtrain, right, and you're exerting 100%, but you're lacking energy, something's going to give, right? Something has to give, right? Yeah. But once they release, and that just flows out. Right? And then they need a psychologist, right? Because when you feel your competition catching up and you feel the stress, you cannot ignore it, right? You just have to, right? No resistance, right? So in competition, to be number one, you create that resistance, right? I have to, right? I have to work harder. Oh, it's catching up with me. I'm not fast enough, right? But when you try harder, you have to be careful because you're creating resistance. Yeah. It's popular to say it now, right? It's work smarter, not harder, right? Right? So this is working smarter, and then you have to remember that everything we do, right? Because it's just physical movement, applies to everything. So you go to hula, you go to lua, you go to massage, you go to ballet, you go to aerobics, you're just walking, you're flying a kite, you're driving a car. What did I learn in this class? Oh, just let that move. Let all our habits come back, yeah? When I go from the Tai Chi to the Fat Ka Kin, all those habits of how I train come back, just fast and let me slow it down and study the move, and then, so I have to strip all my training back down if I want to get this. Otherwise, automatic, right? Just oh, I'm not learning and applying what I'm learning over here, right? I have to do the Tai Chi move to feel like but when I go into the fast, so-called external moves, right? I have to actually slow it down to this kind of speed to restudy and reset my natural reactions. And that's why that person, when everybody leaves, they're still practicing, right? Just give them the key. They're going to lock up and they're going to open up already, right? They're practicing with nobody around, right? They don't even want the teacher sometimes come in because I don't want to be corrected. I just got to study, right? Or the correction is interfering with my understanding and getting it. Oh, now I'm ready for the correction because now I can let go of that, right? And I understand. Oh, I've maxed out. Man, I just maxed it out, right? I hit bone. What do I do next? Right? But sometimes you get corrected before that, or that you're still trying to study that and trying to interpret, but you're not ready. Yeah. So try to remember that all of these little movements apply to everything. Just walking out the door. Yeah. So all you guys might look a little funny walking out the door today, but that's okay. Okay, let's stand up for a little while. Just loosen up. Yeah, just loosen up the leg. Oh yeah, I didn't realize how much I was really going down low yesterday, and it felt so good. And those knots are so deep inside. I didn't feel it until I went down today again. And then I touched those knots. Normally you feel it, right? But yeah, it's different because it's real inside. Yeah. Okay. So we go back to that first little demonstration exercise. Okay? You relax and bend, let your body fold, just sink. Right? And because two legs and we're centered, right, you can't turn left or right. So you're going to fold like this. But when you look at this, it's at an angle. Right? So as you come down and you shift to one side, relax and let the body turn. Listen to how the body wants to turn, and you're going to sink lower until you can just pick up one leg and then put it down. Right? You can go up and down as you need. Relax. Just really let your body fold. Let this fold until you can just pick up one leg. Right? If you can hold that there, that's great. Right? If you step down right away, but yeah. You see how I'm looking at the ground? Because my body's turned, so my eyes naturally look on the ground. Just thinking into here, right? Just feel this hip turning. Yeah, as you shift, just let your body turn, sink into that. Yeah. So we talk about, oh, don't rise. But if I keep telling you, no, get down, right? You're fighting this. So it's, if you sink into here, right? You let this fold and sink, relax into here, then you won't rise. You cannot rise. Right? And then you just feel that real stability come out. Right? Just sinking. Yeah. If you go real deep, you're going to get that muscle development. So with the feet 45, right? So now the foot is already turned. Right? So the feet are 45. You sink down. Right? You cannot turn left or right because we're in the center. But as you shift to the right, you have to turn. Sink into the right hip. You sink until the left foot is free. Then pick the knee straight up and extend. And as you shift into the left, you have to let the body turn to the left to release all that resistance until the right heel starts picking up. Right? And then sink and pick the knee straight up and step. Yeah? And then back to the center. So that's the first three moves. Okay? Okay? So you have to sink and relax, right? Let it fold. Yeah. So later on, you can be more upright. But if you go upright, you cannot give this up. So you don't force this to be upright. This opens all that tension, right? You have to be able to sink and then slowly change your form. Okay? So you sink into your right. Yeah? Sink into your right, right? Relax into here. Then this leg will release. Right? Just sink into there and flex it out. Right? And then sink. Right? And fold into the left. Your body, let your body turn as you fold into the left until the right leg is free and can step up. Yeah? And then shift, sink into both hips equally back to the center. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's try that one more time. That's just the first three opening moves. So first three opening moves is learning how to stand and then shift and walk. Okay, so right, so that thing about, right, if I have to turn my foot right so that I can look front when I pick up my leg, because I have to create that. So you can see in this set, that's what it's doing. It's already saying, okay, turn the foot already, right? Because this is front. But it knows this foot has to turn because we have to fold into here. Right? So relax and fold into the right. So the left foot releases. Then sink, relax, and then fold into the left. Let the body turn, don't fight that. Till the right foot releases, and just unfold the bottom of the foot. And then back to center. And from here. So when we do cloud hands, it's walking sideways, yeah? So This is the difference between circle walking and walking in a straight line. So when we do, let's see, we're going to have to remember, we're going to walk this way. Yeah? So when we do cloud hands, right, we're walking in a straight line, but you still have to turn, right? But when we walk in a straight line, you got to kind of keep your feet this way. But if you just letting your body move the way it wants to do, you won't walk in a straight line when we walk sideways, because you'll turn, right? I'll sink into here to free this leg. And when I pick up this leg, because my body is turned, right, my leg will turn a little bit, right? And then when I sink into this leg, right, my body is now turning this way, right? So if I really step sideways, my body is angled, right? This is now my straight line. So when I sink from here, right, and I'm turning, and I'm just letting my leg follow naturally with no resistance, the circle walking comes out. But if I want to go straight, I have to kind of force that. So to go straight, right, I have to still sink, right? I have to kind of compensate where I step, right? So I'm actually stepping back, right? And then I really have to sink. This leg wants to pull, right? Wants to go here. I just have to say, no, it has to be here. But if I'm sinking into here, right? So it takes a little bit more thinking to walk in a straight line. Right? But I have to fold. So if I don't fold into here because it naturally wants to fold, right? Oh, it's really difficult. But if I let it fold and I sink into here, then this leg can be free, right? This leg can go wherever it wants to go. I just have to say, oh, I just want to walk in a straight line. Yeah. So you try that sometimes, right? When you're doing the Wan Sau, and you think like, okay, don't force the straight line. Only let it fold, right? And where does that leg want to go? Oh, just let it go where it wants to go, right? And I'm turning, right? So I'm going to go that way and shift. I'm going to turn. Right? If I keep on turning, I'm going to go straight. But if I relax, my body turns, my foot turns. So you can turn left or right as you fold. You just have to relax and listen. It becomes intent. Yeah. Okay. So just the feet on wave clouds. Right? So we're over here. So I'm sorry. We have to do. We'll just go straight into wave clouds. We're already talking about that. Right. So we're straight. Right. You're going to sink. Right? Your body's going to turn to free the right. Right. Step. Right? You have to shift. Right? Sink into the right hip. The body's going to want to turn to the left. Right, and then sink. Let the body turn. Right, sink into the hip. Let the body turn. So it's just the intent to walk in a straight line, yeah, from here, but folding into here. Okay, and then we're going to go left. Right, so you have to turn into the right to release the left, to the left. Right? Shift and sink. Sink into the left. Right? Really listen and don't fight that hip joint. Right? Right? It's the path of least resistance. Right? That's what we say, right? That's what that means. Path of least resistance. If it feels too much tension, turn your body a little bit. To turn more right. Yeah. And then I'm not watching you guys. Does it feel different? Okay, so yeah, shake it out. Shake it out. Okay, so when you guys get it, then we'll go on tour. We'll have the $1,000 seminar tour. So we'll say it's a fundraising for KCCN, but you know we'll make sure we have good food, yeah. Okay, so in the chair, same thing. Okay, so if you pick up one heel, right? So to pick up one heel, you don't pick up the heel, you sink into one hip. So sink into one hip, let the body turn, relax, right? And then feel that heel release, right? And then come back, sink into the other hip, right? You sink all the way, so you have to drop down. You're gonna feel the body dropping down, and then that heel can pick up, right? So if we're doing Wan Sau in seated, the same thing, right? Sink. You can see my body sink a little, right? And then expand, right? And then sink, right? So if we're walking in place, so you can add walking in place to the Wan Sau. It doesn't have to be just pressing down. That's just one way of practicing, right? So pick up that leg, I have to sink. I have to sink, right? And then expand, right? So I can be overt about this. Expand, sink, expand, sink, expand, sink, yeah. Right? And if both feet are down, right, I can expand. And then to release, I can sink. Yeah. So you have to give yourself permission to do this, right? Because normally, if you're learning forms, it's like, hey, stop dropping your body, right? Pick up your leg, but don't move the rest of your body. But you have to feel that come out. And then you can start perfecting the form, how you want it to look. But in here, you still have to feel that sink, right? So I can either be, right, just really let that sink come out, right? And expand, and then sink, okay? Or it can just be sinking. I can still be sinking and not be overt about my body moving up and down, but inside I can still feel that expansion, right? This is pressing, so, right? So right there's some expansion, and then there's some expansion, 2 feet on the ground, and then it releases, and then some expansion, 2 feet on the ground, right? More solid, and then it releases, right? Sink into here. Yeah. Okay. All right. Loosen everything up. Oh, I'm gonna have to get my massage gun now. Oh, got real deep knots in there. Okay, bring the hand up and down. Yeah. Bring the hand forward. Breathe in and out and down. Bring the hand up and down. Bring one hand out and then wash the arm. Bring the other hand up, gather. When you do this, think of that heart energy coming out one more time. Yeah? One side, and then the heart energy flowing out. And then the other side, and that heart energy flowing out. And then 2 sides for the legs. And then flow that heart energy down your body. Let it flow out of the legs. One more time. Gather from the sun, and then down through the body, and that heart energy expanding out. One more time. Gather from the sun into the body and wash your body, that heart energy flowing out. Rest your legs. Rest your hands on your lap comfortably. Everything nice and light. Relax the face, but smile from the heart. Calm your breathing down. Any distractions, acknowledge it. Bring yourself back to the meditation. Okay, slowly open your eyes, rub your hands together. Warm up your eyes. Yeah, brush your scalp, just the fingertips. Tap. Okay, and then back of the neck, pull the muscles out away from your spine. Yeah, just the fingertips, hang your arms straight down, your elbows straight down. Move your head around, back and forth, up and down. Okay, couple. Oh, wow, that was interesting timing. As soon as we started the meditation, the wind came in like, I was listening for the chicken skin, but it was just the wind. Okay. Any announcements you need to make? No, we're good.
Okay. Sorry.
Since you're here, we just finished.